Happy Sunday morning to you. I still have crazy hair, but I thought it'd be fun to do a video tutorial today. I check my Brian S. Red Facebook page quite a bit, and I get questions on this page. I got one from a gentleman named Gary Woodland from Watford, England, UK, and Gary asks, I'll read it to you. He says, "Hey Brian, I don't know if you've ever produced a tutorial with regards to mixer gain settings. It would be good to see a video on the best settings for powered speakers, subs, master gain, and channels. After 20 years as a mobile DJ, I'm still not sure if I have my settings in the best possible way, or is this relevant?" It's very relevant, Gary, and I'm glad you asked the question. One of my first videos was on something called pre-fade level settings, and nobody watches my old stuff, it's crap anyway. So I thought, hey, let's do a new one for you. You need a couple of things on your mixing board that are important with any mixing board that you buy. First of all, you need something called PFL or pre-fade level meters, little fun lights on your mixing board that you see bouncing up and down on your lines and on your mains. You need little gain at the top of each individual fader, and that's about it. If you've got those things, then you can set what I call the 0 dB rule, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Today we're going to be working with the Denon DNX1500S, but it could be any mixing board with a few key features on it that I'm going to show you right now. First of all, you should have these line faders, up and down faders. Every mixing board should have these. Your mixing board probably has something like this: bass, mid, and treble, or high, mid, and low. Make sure these are all tuned straight up and down, 12 o'clock position for our purposes today. And at the top you should have something called either gain or trim. It's like a secondary volume on your line. So yeah, we're going to play with that. Also, you should have a main somewhere on your mixer, like your main volume. Sometimes it looks like a line fader, sometimes it's a knob. What I want you to do is set this main to the 8 position. Now 8 could be right here on a fader, could be 3 o'clock on a knob. It depends on what your main is. Our main, again, is a knob. Usually 8 o'clock is darker than the rest of the settings. There's a reason for that. So set your main at 8 o'clock. Now I'm going to go ahead and press the start button on a record, and you're going to see some pretty lights jumping up and down right here on fader 1. See, you've got red here at the top. You've got yellow in here, and this is all green in this area. Now these lights, believe it or not, are not put in your mixer for your entertainment. It's a decibel meter. It's also what we call pre-fade level meter. And what this does is it allows you to adjust the volume of your tune before you play it out to the house. So right now we're not playing anything. We don't have our line fader up. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we only hit 0. We don't go into the yellow or the red. It's just like a traffic light. Green's okay, yellow slow down, red is stop. It's going to distort. Let's see what everything sounds like hitting the red real quick. It's very distorted. It doesn't sound very good, and a lot of people's mixes sound like this because they don't follow the rules. Simply bring this down until you're just hitting 0. 0's the hottest number you're hitting. See that? Now a couple things are happening. First of all, it sounds great. It sounds like it's supposed to sound. I also want you to notice over here on your main, we're not going above 0. It's because we set it at 8. Now also on your fader, you never want to go higher than 8. 8's the highest you want to go. So we're 0 dB here, we're 8 here, we're 8 here. If this was our PA system, we'd be cranked up as loud as we'd want to be cranked up. We don't want to crank up any louder than this, or it's going to distort. Now you might notice that we do go into the yellow occasionally. That's okay, you're allowed to do that. It's not a big deal to go into it just a bit. Remember, it means slow down, not stop. I wouldn't go way into here, but I'd go, maybe +1 decibel. That's not a problem. Now here's why they call it pre-fade level. I'm going to start another record right here on the other side. See the lights jumping up and down? Now if I were to go like this, bring this up to 8 and bring my crossfader over to deck B, we'd have distortion. But what we can do, again, is make this hit 0 dB. and then bring it over, and we're essentially at the same volume. We kept everything nice and level throughout that just crossfader mix as far as volume goes. Now a lot of you may be asking, what's the point? Why have all these knobs on here? Why don't they just set them at the factory and leave them alone? Well, there's a reason for it. Not all recordings are created equal. Some are recorded louder than others. So we're going to put another record on here and see what happens with our pre-fade level. Look at that. It's jumping way up here into like 3 dB, which is quite a bit louder. We can bring this down, let it hit 0. Right there. Nice and level. Now when it comes to setting your volume on your powered speakers and your powered sub, you got gains in the back of those things or volume controls in the back of them. I crank mine all the way up to 10, and then I just hit 0 dB on my mixer and everything sounds great. Now if you find that your powered speakers sound rough that way, bring that back to 8, just like we did on everything here. In fact, you might notice on your powered speakers 8 is highlighted. Maybe it's a little dark on there, and maybe that's where they should be. Every speaker is different, so try it both ways and see what works best for you. And of course, if you want to bring your volume down, don't mess with your main. Never mess with your main. Leave it alone. Leave that at 8 all the time. Your volume should be turned down with your line faders. Simple as that. Do not mess with the gain or the trim on that on the top. Your individual PFL meters on your channel should always be hitting 0 dB. And if you bring your line fader down, they'll still hit 0 dB. And just bring your lines evenly. Like, I don't know, maybe you want your volume at 4, 5, wherever you want it. Leave it there. And when you want to crank it up and really just light the room up, bring them up to 8. You should be good to go. So that's my tutorial for this Sunday morning. I hope it helped you out, Gary. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments section. Practice and enjoy.